He'd followed every rumor about her, every scrap of news. Not that he still loved her. After all, she was his enemy. No, it was solely because know your enemy. But it would be great to see her.
Okay.
Even if they faced off across sword points.
错了。等一下，我重新选错路了。他这个游戏根本就是一步一脚印耶，妈走错路就死定了，就少拿东西耶。而且他故事他就是在讲一个故事嘛，然后就一直翻页嘛，啊，这样故事还要选择哎，我也不知道选错会怎样。我是因为我微微看得懂英文，他讲的时候，我大概知道要选哪一个。可是我在想，选另外一个是另外一种故事的剧情吗？
The truth is, though, he wanted to see her, wasn't it? It had been a dozen years since Swordfu School. He'd followed every rumor about her, every scrap of news. Not that he still loved her. After all, she was his enemy. No, it was solely because know your enemy. But it would be great to see her. Even if they faced off across sword points, as they'd done so many times at school. The world was a less interesting place without her.
咻，然后他还有个抓，然后跟一般砍。目前只有这3招，可是他的技能图其实还蛮尬的。哎呦，倒地的士兵。 你听得到吗？反正他刚刚那种不同颜色的门就要用不同的刀去开，我现在还没有那些刀。然后这个扫描怪不能被他扫到，不然就死了。
Say goodnight, Gracie, said Renato, wondering who Gracie was. Renato wasn't entirely sure how he was going to capture Zenobia. She'd be expecting him. And he didn't have Lapino to cook up a clever plan. Why was it again that he hadn't got the core? Trusty old sword was always a little better when he sharpened it.
Oh. Wow, 这个是怎样？ 按 R2 quickly recover health over time。哦，干可以回血啊，碎啦！都 lock， 靠别的 lock 玩屁啊！
He wasn't that good yet.
你看，这个就是技能图啦。
Renato had learned so much about... Ooh, what was it again?
等于这个游戏的怪就是要让他跌倒，然后把它干掉。 蛮好玩的。哎呦，要坐船呢。
Renato slinked through Zenobia's ship, making no sound at all. Where were her guards? Finally, he reached her bedroom. She was curled up on her bed. Oh, he'd forgotten how beautiful she was. How sleek. How soft. He tapped her on the shoulder with his sword. She vanished. And he suddenly noticed he couldn't move except his mouth. In fact, soon he couldn't keep his mouth shut. He told Zenobia everything. Skyripper, the rebellion plans, even where the secret rebel base was, until he was hoarse. It was some kind of truth spell. A talky truth spell. She called her father by Farspeaker Toad and filled His Majesty in. But why didn't he get the core? Croaked the Farspeaker in something like His Majesty's croak. Because I missed you, darling. Renato grinned. He doesn't even know why, frowned Zenobia. That makes no sense. It's a trap, shouted the Emperor. I'll meet you at the outpost, and I'll bring my interrogators. If Renato came face to face with the Emperor, maybe he could assassinate him. But maybe it would be smarter and safer to turn Zenobia against her father.
You 看，他还要选呢。
You're lying, she said. Somehow you're lying. The spell hadn't worn off yet. He had to tell the truth. The trick was in making sure she wouldn't believe it. The core is perfectly safe, he said. And he tried his hardest to sound sincere. In fact, I almost went to get it myself. Fine then, interrogators it is, she said angrily. I gave you a chance. The Emperor's interrogators were not especially gentle, even by Weasel standards. Fortunately, Zenobia had locked him in the guest quarters on her ship, and she'd forgotten it had a toilet that, like all skyship toilets, could be vented into the abyss. This was not the sort of slippery fox he wanted to be. But just as they were about to land, he threw the latch, wrinkled his nose, and leapt through the open latrine. It was a short, safe landing. At least this part of the Nexus hadn't changed too much. Zenobia had been taking him to the Imperial outpost. She'd never expect him to go there by himself. Well, maybe she would. You never knew with her.
喂？哦，没有，你在干嘛？哦。
Bernardo felt like he was ready to learn new things. Thank goodness he didn't have to go to school for that. Bernardo wondered what would happen if he jumped. Would he be rescued by an emergency platform? What else could you hook? He was practically sure he'd find something useful in one of these things. Bernardo knew Zenobia, and Zenobia knew him. She'd suspected a trick. Now he'd vanished. She would probably guess that was his plan all along. Perfect. Maybe she wouldn't use the Sky River. At least not without taking it to the scientists at the observatory first. Meanwhile, the Emperor would be coming to the outpost personally. This could be good. Renato was face to face with the Emperor's bodyguard. They looked very tough, but the Emperor held them back.
Oh, where's my daughter?
And how would I know that? Renato grinned at him.
She lured me here so that you could kill me, didn't she?
Ah, don't be ridiculous, said Renato, trying his best to sound convincing. She loves you.
Oh, I knew it. The rabbit told me I couldn't trust her.
The Emperor hopped out the door. His phalanx of bodyguards retreated carefully. Renato heard someone call, "Arrest her!"